it's very nice to see the actual horizon above the forms of the actual space, where basically not only does it retain the sunset formation or the actual color of it, but it's also the fact that they got themselves the stylus system. They actually have Mercury, or in this case Mercury, or in this case, well, any other planets joined in. So even though that's besides the point, alongside with the actual sun. So even though it's a pretty nice looking world map to say the least for that particular part. Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Duffy Duck here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Super Mario Galaxy 2 for the Nintendo Wii / Nintendo Wii U eShop downloadable version of the game. So yeah, last time we did manage to able to, well, let's say we did manage to collect ourselves about roughly 6 power stars on that previous video, because we did manage to able to get, on this case, gather some more power stars during the likes of in the majority of World 1. So even then, that's besides the point right there. And also we managed to beat the likes out of the forms of Gobble Gut, and we managed to able to actually get ourselves our first Grand Star in the entire game. So yeah, today for this episode is the fact that we're about to be continue on, and we're about to be going on to World 2 now. So even then know that yes, my lives count is now being reset to 5, or in this case 6, if you want to be more precise on that particular part, as you can see on screen. Because again, that if you have 0 lives left, well, obviously you still have 1 chance left. So here we go, on to the forms of the beginning portion of World 2. To start things off, we're going to be heading to the first new level that we can actually just jump in, and that is Puzzle Plank Galaxy. And the first mission we have in World 2 is the Puzzling Picture Block. Or in this case, the Puzzling Picture Block, as far as I meant to say for that, right? So, I actually really do like this music, by the way, because it almost inspires by the forms of, I would say Raises Bond music from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic in, Season 3, Episode 8, even though it almost match up to the rhythm. Well, almost anyway, though, because I haven't really watched Episode 8 yet, because well, I still need to able to rewatch the episodes from the past to present day, until whenever I decide to finally manage to catch up to that kind of stuff. So, yeah, today's day is the forms of the 4th of July in 2019, so we've only got about let's say 6 days left until Dr. Mario World for the iPhone devices, or in this case, I would say Android phones as well, that those versions of the game were about to be coming out on the same day. So even then, I might be very curious able to actually try that game out, especially noticeable, well, I did already have, Dr. Mario for the NES Classic Mini, and especially noticeable with Dr. Mario on the WiiWare, although I no longer have the DSiWare installments, just because, well, it plays exactly like Dr. Mario on the WiiWare, but except the fact that, well, it has smaller amount of content than the forms of how it does it on the WiiWare version, so that's why I no longer have the DSiWare version of Dr. Mario, but at least I still had a good time on that, just for the sake of, like, just chilling out for playing some puzzle games from time to time, but even then though, that was back in the past anyway, so even then though, and I wasn't meant to tend to able to try to get Dr. Luigi on the Wii U, but I haven't really get a chance to able to actually get Dr. Luigi yet, but even then though, that's only because I was a bit skeptical at first, and plus as a result, I don't have that much cash with me back in the day, but every now and then now, it's the fact that I managed to able to gather some more cash and during the likes of other jobs I was been doing, so even then though, stuff like helping out some other things and all that stuff, so even then though, you probably get the drill from that part, so anywho though, so the reason why we're about to be collecting those coins, as you can see right there, on this mission, because, well, much like in the forms of how it does it on Fliffly Bluff Galaxy, is that once again we need to collect those coins until we're able to actually feed them to the Hungry Llama, as you can see right there. And yes, we do need 70 of those coins, so since we actually got 2 more than the forms of how it does it on the original amount, and in that way, once again, the galaxy will about to be, well, usually the planet itself will about to be born on itself. So, well, this planet looks familiar. even then though, it almost exactly feels exactly a similar shape as the likes of how it does it in Honey Hive Galaxy in the original Super Mario Galaxy game, but except the fact that now the color itself is actually a little bit more autumn themed. So even then though, because, well, it's pretty obvious at this point because we almost there to the forms of the autumn season. Well, not necessarily just yet though. Oh god, we have ourselves Bugaboo? Gee, I thought we just killed you from the first game, but I'm guessing you're back for the sake of the actual revenge against on us. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, not only do we able to present you by the forms of the, some new boss fights they actually introduced in Super Mario Galaxy 2, but they're also bringing back some of these, older boss fights from the past Super Mario Galaxy games. So even though, like, one example we have is Bugaboo. So even though he plays exactly like how he does it on, you know, in the first game, but except the fact that no longer going to be needing the boost, the B suit, I should say, but instead is now being replaced as, of course, the Cloud suit. So even though, in order to actually just, well, attack him, of course, is the fact that, much like before, we need to ground pound onto that specific timing until you're able to actually ground pound onto that particular marking on its back, and then if you do that 3 times, then Bugaboo, he's dead for good. And, obviously, there's no need to able to use the B suit from now on, though, because even then, though, as I said before, that in order to actually kill him this time, is that you need to use the Cloud suit in order to actually just, create the Cloud platforms, and also, as a result, you can able to actually attack him from here, so. And the secret mission in Puzzle Plank Galaxy is none other than Bugaboom's back. Because, you know, he makes a comeback after the revenge on us from, you know, from the first game. So, yeah, I think that's clearly obvious for that little description right there. Hey, looks like there's a few changes to the world map. Let's check it out. Oh, but first, before I do that, Lubba, oh, you got another thing to say? You know, that's Toad you brought back. It looks like he's moonlighting as some kind of cosmic postman now. Go ahead and honor him. Maybe he's got something for you. So yeah, much like the first game, Male Toad also makes a return, but even then though, except the fact that, well, obviously it's now on the Starship Mario, small hub world. Hey Mario, I decided able to give you some mail, so here's your first letter for you. Mario, I am very far away right now, but I am okay. I know you will come save me. P.S. I've attached something to this letter I hope will be useful. So yeah, just like before, it'll give you an extra life if you manage to able to read the letter. So even then though, although, unlike the first game, it just normally gives you 5 lives. So instead, it just gives you an extra life instead. Well, only 1 of them. So, nothing major though, but even then there's something worth mentioning. So, and as soon as we get into that particular world map, oh, what do we have here? This is the Grand World Map. With the power of the Grand Star, we can travel great distances across space and time. Now we can travel between worlds whatever you like, Captain. So yes, not only you can able to actually explore for the actual world map, you can also just manage to zoom out as far as the actual option has now been finally added with the zoom out option. That way you can able to actually instantly transport it to the next world and all that stuff. So even then, there's a great way to able to actually just you know, traverse through any kinds of stages like this, especially noticeable in the future worlds, like specifically World 3, 4, 5, and onwards. So even then though, because of this though, that'll be very handy though, especially noticeable whenever we get to, you know, the next set of missions until in the future though, but from now on though, we're most likely going to have to focusing on, you know, World 2 for now. So because of this though, yeah. So speaking of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, actually, for those of you older bronies out there who still managed to become a big part of the fandom, basically, I've recently watched the films of the actual hour special, in this case, the summer TV special, on the films of on YouTube, and it's actually called My Little Pony Rainbow Road Trip, and I'm not going to spoil things too much about it, but what I've noticed is the fact that after I watch it the whole way through on my own time, I think it did usually happen during the likes of the 26th of June. Although, by the way, before you mention about that, there's actually a little bit of a shortcut you can able to perform by simply able to triple jump at the right time until you're able to get into the launch star within you know, no problem with instant. So because of this though, that's the thing I still really loved about the forms of both Super Mario Galaxy 2 and Super Mario Galaxy 1 is the fact that I really still love performing those, you know, pretty cool shortcut tricks and all that stuff. Because of this though, it's very good for speedrunning tactics as far as I can usually say about this to top it all off. So, but anyways though, what I've seen the actual TV special of My Little Pony, you know, Rainbow Road Trip, it kind of reminds me of that particular Wii U game, which is actually has a similar concept where basically the main six managed to able to traverse through well, the Hope Hollow, which for what I can gather, everything else is all in black. Well, again, I'm not going to spoil things too much heavy about it, but everything else is all in black and white. And next you notice that it's up to the main six to able to restore color from the actual town. And I thought to myself, oh, that story, as far as the actual concept of it, is very familiar because it almost exactly similar to how it does it in Paper Mario Color Splat. Oh wow. That's a really, really cool ground pound I just performed right there. So anyways though, I'll explain more on that later, but for now, let's go ahead and just, you know, attach those pieces together, and if you think that this mission is over, oh gosh, we have ourselves these little duos of those little insect-looking enemies makes a return once again, just like the forms of how it does it in Bunker Boom from the first game, but now, we actually ended up in somewhat of a much more wider, arena. So you can end out that just like in the forms of the first game, that we need to ground pound both of them before you're able to get yourselves our glorious power stars. So, I think that's as far as we can go for with Puzzle Plank Galaxy for this point, because even then though, I think it only has like 2 missions so far, but until later on though, until like, you know, the halfway point of it, then we can able to actually just to see of how the fact that we can able to actually just to go back there for the sake of like the future points of this let's play. But again, we'll explain more on that until whenever we get to continue from that part. So anyways though, so now we have a choice between these 2 galaxies from top to bottom, and of course I'm going to be starting in a chronological order, starting with well, Boulder Bowl Galaxy is up next, and I'll save Hightail Falls until for about later after this galaxy is completely done. So here we go, on to the forms of the first mission in Boulder Bowl Galaxy we have is Rock and Roll Mottola, which, even then though, because it just somewhat feels more accurately, well, acts out like a boulder or something. So anyways, I believe this might actually be the another level to be able to actually introduce into ourselves I would say, this as far as I can usually say about this, the last new power-up in this game it actually introduced in this particular game, and that is of course, probably another cool one actually, and that is, you transformed into Rock Mario, shake the Wii remotes to roll over your enemies. So, this is the Rock Mario transformation, where basically what this does is that you can able to actually transform into Sonic the Hedgehog Spin Dash, because I say that, because it kind of reminds me like a Spin Dash for some reason from, you know, from the Sonic the Hedgehog series, quote-unquote. Especially noticeable with, I would say Black Bomb from Sonic Lost World, but except the fact that I rarely use that specific wisp on that game. But at least, I'll take Boulder Mario any day than he thought about it does it on Black Bomb Wisp, because even then though, it does rarely anything on Black Bomb on Sonic Lost World. But hey, on the plus side though, on Super Mario Galaxy 2, on you know, the Boulder Rock or anything like that for that power-up, at least I can able to actually just, well, control fine as it is for that particular part right there. So, yeah, as far as I'm aware for that part, that's as far as I can say for that power-up. So, one thing I forgot to mention about the forms of, do you remember in my second part of Super Mario Galaxy 2 Let's Play, which is recently, I did accidentally say about the forms of that one of the boss fights we did manage to deal with in Yoshi's Dark Galaxy, which is I accidentally called him Giga Lakitu, but it turns out his real name is King Lakitu, because, well, I can tell because he got himself his crown and all that stuff, so that maybe it's probably because I keep on thinking of, well, back in the day, as it is. So because of this, though, I just seem to be a little bit more, well, serious to memory loss sometimes. So, but I digress. So, and another thing is worth mentioning, though, is the fact that, oh, really? Jeez, thanks a lot, Octo Rocks. In this case, the green variations, which, sure enough, these ones are now called it, elite, Octogoomba, which even then though, because they are, well, as far as what the enemies can do, is the fact that, well, they act out very similar to the forms of Octoruma, but except the fact that the biggest difference is now is that he can now actually shoot 2 boulder projectiles instead of just 1 within 1 single shot. So, something to keep in mind with that particular, you know, status report. So, anyways. And here we go with the next boss fight in this game, which appears to be, I think this is actually called Rollo-Dillo, which even then though, in order to actually deal with this boss fight is that, obviously the only power-up you definitely need to be using is, of course, Rock Mario, which basically it deals the damage on his butt. However though, unlike in any other boss fights, including the forms of, well, specifically Pee-wee Piranha, well, basically it does have like 2 weak points, or in this case 2 hit points in Pee-wee Piranha, especially noticeable with 3 hit points between, oh, how do I miss that? Anyways though, with the 3 hit points between Buckaboom, and especially noticeable with King Lakitu, and especially noticeable with Diggerleg and all that stuff. Whereas in Gobble Guts, he does have like 6 weak spots or something like that. And at least for this particular boss, it now actually has 4 hit points. Because even then though, differently from Galaxy 1, is that some boss fights manage to have some slight significance when it comes to the actual hit point system. Because even then though, in most of the other bosses in Super Mario Galaxy 1, at least in every single boss fight, always seems to have, you know, 3 hit points. Well, except Boulder Gust, because even then Boulder Gust actually has like 2 hit points for his weak spot and stuff. So, yeah, that's as far as I can usually tell from the difference. But it's, anyways, back on track. If you manage to able to roll into the forms of, Rollo-Dillo's butt for about 4 times, then obviously he's dead. So even then though, and I think that's as far as we can go with, Boulder Bowl Galaxy for now on though. But until later on though, we'll be back for this stage until at some point in the future though. Because for now, let's go in and, sorry, we can't speak today for this point, folks. But anyways, let's obtain the Power Star, and we'll leave the stage until for about a long period of time. So even then, though, that was about it. And I believe, not only does it able to give me back onto the forms of, well, it just usually takes me back into the forms of the actual inside portion of the Starship Mario, which meaning about the fact that we can now actually introduce to the rock mushroom and stuff. And I believe that could be also same applies as, I would say a letter mail. So we'll just check that out as soon as we can. You seem to have brought back a what? A rock? Huh. Yeah, good work there, pal, I guess. Well, looks like we got the room for it, so I don't mind having it around. Yep, we have another letter. Mario, I have a letter for you. Or what is it this time around? Invitation? Okay. Hey, remember me? I got a new game over in Fliffly Bluff Galaxy. Come on by and we'll do the whole instructions thing, and we'll like to see the game skills that you've performed. So now we need to head back into the forms of Fliffly Bluff Galaxy, because I could assuming we have ourselves another new mission we can able to go through. In this case, another set of missions that we can able to actually just to go through, which even then, that, I'm actually pretty pumped about this, because, well, you probably get the idea. I do apologize for the lack of dialogue for this point, folks, because, again, there's not much else I can really talk about this until, I will mention some more parts until later on, though, but for now, let's head into the forms of Fliffly Bluff Galaxy once again, and here we go, on to the forms of the Champ's Stomp Challenge. Now, I'm guessing this is more likely something to do with the high score-based system, which even I know if that would be true for that regard. So, for the time being, let's go ahead and just go after that question mark coin right there. And, oh, how dare you interrupted me for able to walk about? Say, hey, I'm the greatest game player in the galaxy. They call me the champ. Nice mustache. I've got the high score of 10,000 points. On this game here, pretty simple. Just stop the enemies and grab the coin. If you can match or top my score, I will give you a power star and some respect, maybe. So, you game or what? Yes. You're going for 10,000 points. Good luck. You're gonna need it, pal. So yeah, basically in this mission right there is the fact that all you need to do is basically you can either manage to able to match up the exact same score as the champ score, or you can able to actually just to get onto the top leaderboard in order to actually beat his score there. So in this case, in this mission, it's very simple. Basically, we need to continuously doing some little bit of a, well, stomping on the enemies mortality, because even then, though, as you can tell, that we need to do a lot of these chain reactions, because if you can tell, if you keep on stomping those enemies all in one row, like specifically if you manage to stomp on 3 enemies in one single jump, then that way you can able to actually get, well, let's just say if you do a single stomp, it gives you 100 points, and then if you stomp on 2 enemies all at once, it gives you like 200, but if you stomp on 3, it gives you 300 points. So definitely go for 300 points or more, just because of how the fact that way you can able to make this mission a lot easier for you. In fact, I did manage to able to actually get a little bit of a struggle at points for my first time playing through all this, but every now and then, especially noticeable after about, you know, 9 years ago for this point now, I'm actually now used to it. So even then though, because of this though, well, it might take a lot of practice on those kinds of things sometimes, and as you can see, not only does it give you like a good chunks of points if you manage to able to actually just you know, do a lot of like stomping combo bonuses and stuff like that, but it's also the fact the matter is though, is the fact that you can able to get yourselves so many extra lives if you manage to do so like this. But however though, if you get hit by the forms of the actual boulder projectile with those little octogoombas or something like that, well, basically your combos will be lost. So however though, if you do manage to grab the well, the 1-up mushroom, and especially noticeable with the life mushroom, as you can see right there. And let's not forget to mention about that question mark coin, where basically if you actually just manage to touch those, it actually gives you 1000 points, which is actually very recommendable in theory, which even then though, pretty nice reward I have to say. Fantastic, that's 15,950 points. You might be an amazing rival to my own skill. Here's your power star, with your power of the you know, clapping, of course. You know, it kind of reminds me like Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, where basically Donkey Kong has an ability to able to use the clapping ability to able to actually attack enemies, and especially noticeable with pretty much all sorts of things from Donkey Kong Jungle Beat and all that stuff. So that's pretty amusing, I have to say, for that matter. So anyway, so let's go ahead and just leave, and yeah, because I'm actually going to be going after those star bits first, of course, so that way I can able to actually just, you know, keep on collecting those star bits from time to time, so just for the sake of the forms of, like, the latest, Hungry Lumber stages until, for the future points in time. So even though that pretty much does it for, not only for this entire mission, but it's also the entire galaxy as well. So, and, oh, we got something new here. Well now, you've found quite a few of those power stars, huh? We have to keep track of see how many we can get. That's it. The sign next to the helm right here. It also shows you the whereabouts of some other power stars if you're interested. So basically, you can also just manage to able to check that out on the pausing menu screen, which if you can see on that little star list, as you can see right there. But even though that's another alternative way you can able to actually just you know, double check on certain power stars you've missed, and especially noticeable with some other power stars you're actually going to be going after next. So anyways though, so that's it for that, and now let's move on to the next level, in this case the next stage in World 2, and that will have to be Hytale Falls Galaxy. In the first mission we have right here is Hot Stepping Dash Pepper. And it looks like it's about time to able to actually use Yoshi on this level ever since Yoshi Star Galaxy. So, and fundamentally though, this might actually be the first Yoshi's power-ups on the forms of this game. So even then though, yeah, everything else is all accounted for basically, and as far as I'm aware, because if you can hear in the background music, is that, well, that's actually a remix theme from Super Mario World. So even then though, it's a nice little throwback to the forms of how it does it in the past. So even then though, that's a pretty cool swelling, well, music as a whole. So even then though, let's just go ahead and use the Dash Pepper, as you can see right there, which basically what the Dash Pepper can do is that not only do you able to run super fast, just like Sonic the Hedgehog of all things, but you can also manage to use this that you can able to actually run up to the wall and stuff, which, to me it's actually pretty cool in theory, just because of how the fact of the matter is, though, is because, well, it does almost reminds me of like I was playing as Sonic the Hedgehog all over again, with Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Colors, and even Sonic Generations, and Sonic Forces, and all that stuff. Well, except for, you know, Sonic Lost World, because some people seem to think they have different tastes of that game, so because of this, though, yeah, as far as I can say about it. So anyway, though, and talking of Sonic Lost World, potentially, is the fact that, you know, that Piglet has already finished up with his redo Let's Play of Super Mario Galaxy, which is back in during the likes of in June, which is about last month or so. And during in June, Sonic did manage to able to finish up with his redo Let's Play of Sonic Lost World, which the gameplay aspects almost exactly feels a bit too similar. Oh, I missed the 1-ups! It doesn't matter, because I still got plenty of them anyway, though. And besides that, though, however, though, seems like so far I did not die in this game so far. Well, it wasn't until later on, though, where the game starts to get really, really tough. I will say that it informs of in the beginning portion, it's not too, hard or anything like that, but it wasn't until later on in this game, is that much like it informs in the first game, that, until you get to the proceeding to the actual, story progression or something like that, even for the later stages, it can get pretty, really difficult. And in fact, the matter is, though, is that some people seem to think that the sequel of Super Mario Galaxy was actually considered to be a lot harder than in forms of how it does it on the first game this time. Because I'm pretty sure that's why the sequel exists anyway, though, because of some people seem to complain about the difficulty in the original Super Mario Galaxy game, making it the actual game a little bit more too easy. Just for the sake of, you know, farming some more extra lives and all that stuff. But I can understand about the fact that the difficulty will increases in the sequel. So because of this, though, I really don't mind about it too much. Because even then, I'm up for a challenge. And plus, this is still my favorite Nintendo Wii games of all time. So, yeah, you probably get the idea. So anyways, though, in this secret mission, as you can see right there, we need to get 30 coins into our disposal. But, if you ever think about it, well, this is where I feel like where you have to be very careful on those specific portions, where in this stage in particular, is the fact that I highly recommend you do not activate the checkpoints whatsoever if you want to able to keep those, you know, coin counts alive, if you really want to do this mission. Because if you somehow die, and then if you're able to respawn onto that checkpoint, well, much like in the forms of how it does it on the first Super Mario Galaxy game, it will once again reset to 0 every time you die if you grab too many of those coins. So, yeah, just keep that in mind, and especially noticeable of how the fact that in some secret missions, like, you know, like this one, for instance, that if you somehow died by complete accident, well, you know, the only option is for you now is the fact that you need to redo the entire mission all over again. So, yeah, that's something worth mentioning. Silver Stars in Hightail Falls is the secret mission's name. So, because of this, though, yeah, once again, we need to grab these silver stars, like all 5 of them, until you let it transform into the normal power star itself. So, even though I thought it's worth mentioning for that part anyway, though, this is what Yoshi comes into play with that particular mission, by the way, because you know these little, blue-like, enemies, which I'm also able to actually just to realize of what they, the enemies are known as. These are known as, kelp toads, which basically, you're able to, every time you drop the silver star in a bubble and stuff, basically what those things can do, or in this case these, kelp toads can do, they'll try to able to actually snag those, well, trying to steal the silver stars from you. So because of this, though, that's where Yoshi's will become very handy, though, especially on that mission. So, but anyways, though, let's return back into this level, as you can see right there. But this time around, though, we'll do the normal mission. So because of this, though, I actually really do love this, this stage, by the way, because even then, it just shows, how good the actual, ability for, you know, Dash Yoshi can do. Because of this, though, still, it just reminds me of, like, Sonic the Hedgehog of all things, except he's not, blue, but he was actually in, I would say in red, so, yeah, you probably get the idea. So, anyway, so let's get into my, discussion about the forms of, My Little Pony Rainbow Road Trip, the actual TV special of that, specific summer season. And from what I've seen so far, well, again, I'm not going to spoil things too much about it, because I don't want any of your bronies out there don't want to be too spoiled about this. But, to me, that particular plot is so similar to me than in forms of how it does it on that particular Wii U game, which is called Paper Mario Color Splash, where basically in Paper Mario Color Splash, Mario Paper Mario needs to able to actually restore the color of the forms of Prism Island, and basically it's up to him to able to restore the nature of the color and stuff, which that could be same applies for the forms of Road Trip, by the way. Well, Rainbow Road Trip, as far as I meant to say. But even then, though, as far as what I've seen, I actually do really enjoyed it. Even though there's one thing that, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure Sonic has never mentioned about that during the likes of his redo Let's Play of Klonoa for the Wii. Basically, the actual animation style, it looks heavily identical to the forms of how it does it on My Little Pony, the movie 2017 counterparts, because of how the fact that with the actual look, and especially noticeable with the animation itself, because it was being made by Boulder Media, which it does the same thing for the movie, by the way. And also, not to mention though, is the fact that you know, it's kind of like the same thing for how it does it in, you know, in these two games, or those two Mega Man games, which they all consist of, you know, Mega Man 8 and Mega Man and Bass for, well, Mega Man 8 for the PlayStation/Sega Saturn, and especially noticeable with Mega Man and Bass for Super Nintendo and Game Boy Advance. They both share the exact same identical sprites and all that stuff, so I just want to keep this in mind. So that could be same applies for that as well. So yeah, I'm afraid to say, guys, is that we're gonna have the ending stuff at this point right there. So join me next time on Let's Play Super Mario Galaxy 2. It's the fact that we're about to be continuing exploring through World 2 and gather some more Power Stars and explore new galaxies all by itself as well. So see you guys next time. Later, fellas.